What's going on, you gamers? Today we're going to be covering a little bit more Dying Light 2, and what I'm going to be going over is what I feel are the best early game unlocks for those blueprints and then upgrade them. What ones are going to help you out and just make life a lot easier? Well, let's find out. Welcome back, you guys and girls. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, then why not hit that subscribe bell icon? I'll bring you all the latest and greatest content, hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of upcoming games such as Dying Light 2, which I'm covering now, and then Elden Ring, which is on the way. But for today, there's a lot of things you can do in Dying Light 2, but how can you make things easier for yourself, and what are some of the strongest blueprints to get upgraded early on? Right, so just in case you don't know, blueprints and such are pretty much revolving, unless it's a quest chain or something on the like of that. It's going to be this fella right here, any one of your safe houses or anywhere you go where there's a craftmaster. As you can see, he's got this symbol above his head, which you probably could already see, but it's kind of like a wrench and hammer symbol, and he's known as the craftmaster. This is the guy who's going to be doing your upgrades and making everything just better in general. When you jump over to him, he's going to show you what you can purchase, and if you've already purchased it, it's going to disappear. Obviously, some of the later stages will have different ones as you progress through the story. But early game, what one should you be looking at, and what one should you upgrade in order to make things easier for yourself? So first off, the one that I would say is just 100% essential, definitely look at this whenever you can, and that's going to be the medicine. You're going to want to upgrade this, I would say probably to at least 4, so that you can get quite a bit of health back. It's also going to mean that your time to apply the bandages, or the medicine I should say, is going to be a little bit quicker at 3 seconds. It's going to give you 100 healing, meaning if you're early game, you're going to pop your health all the way back up, or even if you've managed to get up to say nearly 200 or so, 1 or 2 of these will full replenish your health. You're going to need to upgrade this at some point anyway. Getting it out of the way early makes things a little bit easier, and the faster you can apply this medicine is always in your favour. So I would say 4 would probably be the lowest you want it, but try and get it up as high as possible, because it's just going to make your life easier, and it's something that you're going to be using all the way through the game. Even when you've probably got the artifact medkits and such, this right here will still be something that's a viable option. Invest in this first, invest in it early, and you definitely won't regret it. Next up, and I would say immunity booster. These are just absolutely great because they're going to come in handy in a lot of situations, especially if you like to venture out at night time. This is something that's going to restore your immunity, meaning your time jumps back on the clock, allowing you to bop around further and longer in the dark. Anytime you're going to be out at night time, you're going to want a little bit of immunity booster about yourself, and having this is definitely worthwhile, especially if you like to go around and have a little look in buildings and such to see if there's any valuable loot. Between these two, they really set you out so that you can heal yourself, and so that you can get a little bit of immunity back about yourself. Really works in your favour early game. Now next up, and I'm going to say this is an optional one. If you're not very good at lockpicking, getting this up early is amazing because it allows you to force open certain locks. If, however, you're really good at lockpicking, you don't actually need to invest in this too much. So this one's kind of down to your personal preference. If you want to go and do them a little bit faster, if you want to make sure that you're not going to snap your locks, if you want to make sure that you have an abundance of them because you can create more, this is worth investing in. If you're great at lockpicking, you can save this to later, or even probably not worrying about investing it too much at all. It's completely down to your playstyle, this one. See how you are at lockpicking. If you find it hard, invest in it. If you think it's really easy, you're not going to need to worry about this for quite some time. Now next up, and one that is just amazing, and that's reinforcement. This right here will help you to kind of, how can I put it? It will help you to maintain your weapons. Your weapons in this break a lot early game, and they can be an absolute nightmare. As soon as you start getting a bit of quality on the weapon, you're going to get those mod slots, and you should probably try and chuck this on any of the good ones that you've got, especially if you manage to find any artifact ones, or even any rare ones that have that weapon mod for the grip. This is almost essential early game. As you can see, the next upgrade for it, durability cost per hit, is minus 40%. The more you upgrade this, the longer your weapons are going to last. So ultimately, anything you invest in this is going to make things so much easier. It's not completely essential, but early game it can really help out, and I would say probably getting it up to about a 3 can be perfect. And then I think later on there is actually a charm that you can manage to get. It's a bit of a hidden charm that can replenish the durability of your weapons, so you may not need to invest any more into it, and you may be able to go over to damage to chuck onto your mod grip. Now last but definitely not least, and I would say try to get yourself some kind of a damage source that you're going to want to chuck into your mod slots. My preference at the moment is probably this one right here, and that's Spark. This is just a great, easy to use one, and it's going to be coming off of your crit. So it's classed as a crit mod, meaning when you do manage to crit, it's going to proc the skill and you're going to apply shock. Shock affected to one enemy in front of you with a chance of instantly electrocuting others around him as well. Now you may think that's great, but if it's so good, why haven't you managed to even upgrade it in the slightest? Well, that's because I have actually upgraded it quite a lot, but not for this bit, not for the shaft. Each one of these upgrades has to be done for the certain areas. So if I, say for example, put this one up to level 5, it wouldn't be done on the tip. The tip would still be at 0. You have to upgrade all of them for each individual slot that you purchased them for. But yeah, Spark is an absolutely amazing one, and as you can see, whereas all the others of mine are quite lowish, this one I've gone around getting into a lot of fights that I probably shouldn't have in order to absolutely massacre this and spend everything on it to get it to an artifact status and fully upgraded. I've got a video out now which shows how good this actually is, so if you do want to see what this one's about and why I'd recommend it, I'll chuck that up the top right now. But yeah, make your life a bit easier, make sure you get some kind of a damage source. This one I find best just because it helps really good for single target, and it's very viable for those multi-targets because it's going to shock, it does a little bit of stun, and then you can go in for the kills. But yeah, ultimately they're pretty much the ones that I would fully recommend. Early game, mid game, even late game, they're going to see you through and you're going to be using them at all stages. Definitely worth upgrading early because it will make your life just a lot easier and you'll be able to have a lot of fun with it. But as always guys and girls, if you've got any that you think I've missed off the list or one you prefer, why not chuck in the comments. But for now, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, and for getting just randomly walked into, take care, I'll see you on the next day.